So next I've cut out my diagrams with, so that's the bottom, and then there's two sides, there's a small little octopus or a big octopus. I'm going to be drawing the big octopus. Now it says I have to draw 4 sides, so what I've done, I've folded my fabric in half and I've pinned it onto the spot. Now remember, you should put it right at the edge so that you don't waste too much fabric. And then you can save the fabric and use it for another project you want to do. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using this called Tailor Chalk. They use it to do all the markings on like jackets and stuff. They normally come in a pack of 4. You get white, yellow, red, and blue. I'm going to be using yellow because I think it's going to show up better on the red fabric, and because I don't have a white anymore and used it all up. So yeah, when I do that, I'll show you. So as you can see, I've cut out my two of my sides. I ended up using blue because it just showed up better than the yellow, and the blue's been used before, so it came off easier. Now I can either do 2 things. I can either get my piece of paper and pin that back down again and cut 2 more sides off, or I can just get one of my material sides, draw it out again, and then cut it out again. I'm going to be using the material because it's easier to just cut around and draw around because it's already been drawn on. So yeah, I'm going to use that. I'll come back when it's done, so you can pause it now if you have to. Okay, so now that I've finished this, I've done all my 4 sides, just so you can see them better on the red mat. I've put them onto their white template. I've kept some of the scraps. I'm going to be using them for stuffing liners so I don't have to waste so much fluff. Okay, so now I'm going to get onto the base. Now I only need 1 of these, but just a reminder, even on the top of the octopus, you have to make sure that you're very careful with the tentacles, because you can see they're very rounded, and especially with the top of the octopus, you've got to make a whole heap of them and it can get a little confusing. So yeah. So now that you've cut all your pieces out, it's time to sew. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking 2 sheets of the top and sewing along one edge and connecting them all together. I find this much more easier than just sewing one on to each tentacle at a time, because then you have to sew up the top, and plus it looks much neater if you sew them together and then not having all the parts sticking out. So for this, I'm going to be using, for the top, I'm going to be using red thread, which you probably can't see, but it'll look much nicer on the top of the octopus. And for the bottom, I'll be using probably red again, or black. Okay, so I finished 2 of my pieces stitching together. I know you probably can't see this, but that's what the stitching looks like. I just stitched one end till about just on the point of the tentacle so that you can still stitch it onto the base. So that's the inside of it, and then when I flip it inside out, so that it's the actual side, that's what it's going to look like on the outside. You can do it the other way, but I prefer it this way. It looks a little neater. So what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be stitching all the other sides together so that you just get one big circle. Because I'm putting this onto a bag when I'm finished, I am going to be putting a piece of ribbon onto it. It's just going to be some of this black cord that I've just sort of found at home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half like this, and then just stitch that on so that, like that, so that when it pops out, so that when I fold it out, it's going to be the right way, and the way the stitching is going to be inside it as well. So yeah, as soon as that's done, I'll show you the finished product. Mistake number 1. Okay guys, when you're sewing, I just realised that I've actually sewed it the wrong way and I put the ribbon the wrong way, so that when I pull it out, I get the little tag inside instead of the actual ribbon. So now I'm going to have to unstitch it all and have to restart it again, just so that I can get the ribbon the right way. So please make sure you put it the right way, or I'm begging you, okay? So this is what it should look like after you've finished sewing all the sides together. As you can see, the little tag is on the inside now. Yeah, all the seam, it looks real dodgy. That's what it looked like if, you sewed it like that. So while I'm just going to push this inside out to show you what it's going to look like inside. I'm going to tell you about what the next step is. So I'm going to be using the scraps from my cuttings for some of the stuffing. That's just going to sort of save material on stuffing, and then I will be using stuffing later for the rest of it. So yeah, that's the outside of it. The tag, it's, right way now. That looks much, much neater. It's going to look much better when it's done. So yeah, I'm going to be adding buttons for eyes. I'm going to be adding a little smiley face. After I'm done the stuffing, I'm going to be finishing the base with my bottom, and I will show you how to do that. So yeah, pause it right now if you need to catch up. So I've finished stuffing my octopus, and I even put a little face on it because I like putting the face on before. So that's his face. Yeah, I didn't have any stuffing, so I ended up using wool that I'd accidentally messed up, and I needed to do something with it. Okay, so right now we have to do the base. Now for the base, you're going to have to stick it on, place it down, find the tentacles that you want. It might be a good idea if you stitch it down first, like do one tentacle, do another one, find which ones are easy for you to stitch together, and then, just stitch them all together. It might be a good idea if you pin them down. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to pin down each tentacle. So here's the final product. I had to cut up a little bit of the tentacles off so that it would fit properly. As you can see, they're still a bit white. So yeah, the template will be up in a link below. So enjoy your tutorial.